All right, hi everyone. Can everyone hear me? The full crowd that we have here today. No, I seriously want to thank those of you who are here. I recognize some familiar faces. I was just telling some of the people sitting up front that Team Hope track isn't always the most attended track because we're up against stiff competition with research and all the amazing mission programs we have going on. But as some of my co-presenters were making a good point of mentioning, none of those programs would be possible if we didn't do this. So while it's not the most glamorous or fun, it is what makes sure that we have those research programs and our social workers and our support groups. So I'm excited to talk to you all today about Team Hope. I've invited one of my field staff co-workers, Peggy Cribben, to speak with me as well. She's going to go over some great tips of hers. She just had an incredibly successful St. Louis, Missouri Team Hope walk. Peggy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're somewhere around the $80,000 mark. And what was your budget? Was it like 55 or 60?
Yeah, it was 62 gross, 53 net, so we're about 20,000 over budget.
Amazing. So 20,000 over budget. That's what we like. Without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. So here's a little agenda of what I'm going to be going over today. I'm going to talk a little bit about why we walk. I'm going to give you a little bit of a Team Hope history lesson and let you know how we started and how we've been doing since then. And then I'm going to start talking about what we have to look forward to, all the walks coming up. And for those of you in the room that don't have a Team Hope walk or who are watching at home, you can learn about starting a new Team Hope walk in your community. Let's say if the nearest walk is 2 hours away, or you're in a chapter and affiliate and you already have one walk, but you're like, oh, we don't really have anything going on in this town 2 hours away, so let's start a second walk. We're going to talk about that. We're going to definitely talk about some Team Hope fundraising. We'll go over all the sponsorships and grants, some participant and team fundraising, day of event fundraising, which is also very important. And then Peggy will talk about her top 10 Team Hope tips. And then we're going to share some stories of success from our San Francisco Team Hope walk. Amy and Heidi have graciously agreed to share their stories, which are pretty spectacular. So chock full presentation. So for those of you who are new, those of you at home that are new and you're new to HDSA and you're new to Team Hope, Team Hope is HDSA's largest grassroots fundraising signature event. We have a few different signature events, from galas to the Celebration of Hope galas to Strike at HD bowling tournaments, but Team Hope is the biggest. Not that I take that much pride in it. I do. I like to brag about it a lot. And Team Hope walks empower all of us in our local communities to come together and walk in unison and raise awareness, and as well to obviously raise money for the mission of HDSA. And I just want to take a moment to emphasize that we're not just raising money through Team Hope. We're raising awareness. They're not mutually exclusive. They go hand in hand, and both are just as important. And if you are new to HDSA, the Huntington's Disease Society of America is the premier nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of everyone with HD and their loved ones, from our community services and education and advocacy and research, social workers, support groups. There's so much that is funded and that HDSA does. And we are not just the nation's, but the world's leading leader in providing help for people with Huntington's disease and their families. So since Team Hope's inception in about 2007, as of the end of last year, we've raised over $10 million, which is incredible when you think about where we were just 3 years ago, and I think we were at the $6 million mark. Just last year alone, we raised over $2.3 million in one single year. I think the year before that, we had raised 1.9 or 1.8. So about a $400,000 or $500,000 increase, which is really exceptional, and it's thanks to people who are in this room and who are watching from home. Basically all of our volunteers, our chapters and our affiliates. I like to say I have very little to do with it. I am basically y'all's helper. I fill in where I can, and I do what I can to help you all, but y'all are the reason that Team Hope has succeeded and has really grown the past few years. I know Dave and Susie just had their walk in Illinois, and we're all pretty over the moon about it. What's the latest total do we have?
Somewhere around $91,000.
So around $91,000 the Illinois chapter raised for their Team Hope walk just a few weeks ago. So that's why we're hitting these $2.3 million numbers for walks like that. So far in 2016, we're off to a great start. As that example illustrates, we've had 24 Team Hope walks take place out of the 108 that we hope to have this year. Nearly 4,000 people have participated in Team Hope walks so far through the end of May. And as of the end of April, when I got the latest financials, we'd raised over $500,000, or just about, from Team Hope for the HDSA mission, which is incredible. And a little caveat there, that doesn't include all of the May revenue that came in from, I think there was around 20 Team Hope walks in May. And there were some pretty big ones, like Dave and Susie's Illinois walk that raised over $90,000. So if I had to guesstimate what I'm going to see in a few weeks when I get the May report in, we've probably raised close to $900,000, which is just great. Most of the walks we have are in May or September. It's just the best months weather-wise. So that's when you'll see a lot of the walks happening and a lot of the money coming in for HDSA. So looking ahead, we've had 24 walks so far this year. We have 82 coming up in cities around the country. If you're sitting at home and you are thinking, the nearest walk is 3 hours away, or I've never even heard of Team Hope, reach out to me, teamhope@hdsa.org, and we can either help you start a walk, get to planning one, or we can connect you with one that may be close to you. You can also visit hdsa.org/Team Hope for a full listing of all the Team Hope walks. And we've been upgrading our website, and a part of that is we've got this neat little feature now where you can sort by state. So if you live in California, you can select California in the drop-down menu, and you'll just see all of the walks in California, which is really makes it really easy to find a walk near you. And if you go to this website and you don't see a walk near you or not in your state, we don't have a walk in Hawaii. We also don't have a walk in Montana right now. So there's a few states we don't have walks. So if you're watching this from home, or you listen to this recording later on and you are saying, I live in Bozeman, Montana, I think I want to do a walk, please reach out to me. That would be great. We're always looking to add walks, and if you are interested in starting a new walk, it's just a great way to volunteer with HDSA. It's a great way to get involved. It's an easy way to get involved. You can accomplish a lot of different things. Two of the most important are obviously raising the awareness in your local community about HD, and then, of course, raising money to support the mission of HDSA. And in my personal opinion, I think coordinating a Team Hope walk is easy in comparison to some of the other events you can put on. I mean, I may be biased, but gala dinners and some of these other events, while they're exceptional events, they take a lot of planning. And with Team Hope, you really just need to select a venue, select a date, form a committee, and it can be a small committee as long as you have help, because we don't want anyone trying to be the hero and do it all by themselves, and that's the easy way to get burnt out. So we want you to have lots of help. But once you have a committee going, you can start recruiting participants and soliciting sponsors and coordinating all the day of walk logistics. And you'll have the support of both me. I'm very involved, even though we have over 100 walks across the country. I'm very involved with all the walks. I like getting emails from all of our volunteers, and I like being up to date and knowing what I can do to help. So you'll have the support of myself as well as all the field staff around the country. Whichever region you live in, that field staff contact will be helping you as well. So if you do want to take the first steps towards coordinating a Team Hope walk, you can email me there at teamhope@hdsa.org, and I will send you an interest packet and we'll get you started. If you are thinking about coordinating a Team Hope walk, and one of your first questions may be about when do I want to do it, it's a good idea to start thinking about a walk 8 to 12 months in advance. So there's a lot of different factors that go into the decision making. If you're going to do a smaller first time walk in a really small town, you may only need 6 months. These guides are very flexible and meant to be customized by you, but we generally recommend if you're thinking of doing a walk, or if you're just going to do a walk every year, that you start planning about 8 to 12 months before your desired walk date. And so you're going to reach out to me or to your local field staff person. You're going to start looking at a date and venue. You're going to form that committee. When we send you the interest packet, you'll want to fill out the form at the back that has all the basic information we need to create the website for you. So like your name and the event location and the date and what you want the registration fee to be and your contact information, so we can send the t-shirts to you when it's time to send that. And like I said, we'll create the website for you. We'll send you a full manual. It's very large, I admit that. But I always tell people it's more meant to be used as a reference manual rather than a sit down and I'm going to read 100 pages in one sitting kind of thing. So like if you're working on logistics, take a moment to read through the logistics chapter and do that. And then when you're ready to work on sponsorships a few weeks later or a few days later, read that chapter. So about 6 to 8 months before the walk, start soliciting your sponsors and customize your sponsorship packet. We have great examples. All of the field staff have great examples. We have many established walks that are happy to help new walks get started. They'll share their templates with you. And you'll want to start beginning to recruit teams and participants. And a good way to do that is through eBlast. All of the field staff have access to send out statewide eBlast through our donor drive system that has several thousand names for across the country, and some states have 12,000 names on our list. Other states have 200 names on it. So it just depends on your state, but it's a great way to reach out to most everyone in your community that has been involved with HDSA. We can post flyers at the Centers of Excellence and support groups and with the social workers, and they can encourage all of their people to participate and get involved. And we can supply you with those templates on the website or HDSA Connect, or you can just reach out to one of us. So about 4 to 6 months before the walk date, you'll want to start thinking about marketing. You'll want to start customizing your press release and see if you can reach out to local radio stations and TV stations to see if you can get donated airtime for PSAs. We do have a PSA template in the manual that you can use. We try and make it as easy as possible on everyone. We know how busy you are. A lot of you are caregivers. You don't have a lot of free time to just do all of this work in one go. So that's why we emphasize the committee members and breaking up the work and delegating and all of that. But so reach out to your local newspapers or radio stations or television stations. They're usually happy to come out to the walk. And the great thing about TV stations, if they come to the walk, is they'll usually they'll film and they'll air it on the local nightly news, which is great. And I always love it when our chapters or affiliates or even a regional walk will email me a link to watch the video footage from a walk, because then I post it on the National Team Hope website, because I'm really proud of all of you, and I think it's great when we get to feature that. As well, 4 to 6 months out, you'll want to start adding your walk to community calendars and news boards. Put up on Volunteer Match, especially if you're struggling and you need help and you need volunteers. Volunteer Match is a great thing to post to. You'll want to begin soliciting in-kind donations for prizes and raffles. One thing I'll say with raffles, you want to check with your state and your local laws to make sure you can do a raffle. Technically, raffles and sometimes silent auctions fall under state gambling laws. So you want to make sure you're not running afoul of any of that. And then 1 to 2 months before the walk, you'll want to start checking things off your confirmation list. If you're paranoid like me and you're always second guessing, like, oh, did I do this? Did I do that? You'll want to have your checklist, and you'll want to confirm, okay, I've ordered my shirts. I've got my volunteers lined up. Everyone knows what they're doing, so that when you get to the day of the walk, everyone knows what they're doing when they set up and when they do registration and get going with the walk. So on the side, by the way, is a great flyer for calling all volunteers. If you want to borrow that, we can send you the template, and then as well the updated Team Hope flyer that anyone can use. And it's in Word, so you don't have to have any fancy software. You can just easily customize it. with your local walks information and post it everywhere. So now I kind of want to talk about Team Hope fundraising. So with any fundraising event, sponsorships are important. You should start looking as early as possible. And I always tell people my one big tip, especially for walks that are established, secure your previous sponsors first. You want to shore up that support, make sure they're all good to go, and then start going out and searching for new sponsors. And our last track, our fundraising track for other events, we were talking about our Who Do You Know worksheet that basically we can share a template with you as well for that. But you pass it around to everyone on your committee, and it has different areas like workplace or church or at home or basically various places that you have your life in. And it'll say, list out the people you know and how might they be useful. Maybe your friend from work can get you box seats at Yankee Stadium, and you can use that. Or maybe you know someone that works at Boeing, and they can get a grant for you or a sponsorship. And speaking of grants, we really try and employ community and employee volunteerism. We're a big fan of Kohl's. We can't stress it enough. There's nothing better than volunteers, and they give you money. It's free help, and they'll pay you to let them help you. The application is super easy. You can request, I think, up to 10, 15, 20 volunteers at the same time from one store. And they will come out, they will give you help. They must do it for at least 3 hours, so that's a perfect time frame for a walk. And they'll give you money. It's the best of both worlds. And there's a lot of companies that have similar programs, so keep your eyes open, look for them. With Kohl's, they do have a requirement that you have to be within 3 months before of the date you want them to help, and a lot of people get confused because if it's, say, 6 months away from the walk, they may say, oh, well, we can't apply to Kohl's until 3 months before the walk. Well, what you can do to get around that is, I know, for instance, Natalie and a lot of her volunteers and walks, what they'll do is they will just put a date each month leading up to the walk where they need Kohl's volunteers to do a pre-walk activity like making blue ribbons or mailing out sponsor letters. So each month, Kohl's will come in to a pre-selected location and they will do all of the mailings for the walk, and it'll be a new project each month. And then once you do finally get close to the walk, you can request them again each month. You can request them to actually show up on the day of. So you can use Kohl's throughout the year, every single month. You don't have to wait until the walk is there. With that said, for other companies, especially dealing with grants and sponsorships, you do want to start looking early in the year. Companies, their corporate giving money does evaporate quickly. They are getting asked. So you want to make sure you're reaching out to them as soon as possible in the year, in January or February. And in any case, you also want to be checking so that you know what the deadlines are. You want to know, all right, I have to get this sponsorship application in by May 1st, or I have to get this grant application in by February 15th. So we're going to try and be prepared for the next year and know those deadlines. Matching gifts are just easy. There's a lot of easy money to be found for our events. If you don't know if your company is a matching gift company, assume that they are, because most companies are, especially most big companies. And we do have a full listing on the HDSA website right there that you can go to. If you want me to email you the link, I can just send it to you, and you can search and see what the procedure is for submitting for matching gifts for your particular company. So with Team Hope Walks, we do get a good amount of money from sponsorships and grants, but the majority of the money that comes in for Team Hope is through participant and team fundraising. This is the meat of the program. Team Hope strongly depends on participants getting registered and creating teams and doing peer-to-peer fundraising. And we encourage our participants and teams to get registered early. As soon as the website goes up, there's no reason not to go ahead and register. So as soon as you see that the website's up, even if your walk is in October and it's February, but the website's up, go ahead and register, because that gives you more time to reach your goals. We all lead busy lives, and we all get stressed out when deadlines are approaching. But if I start fundraising in February for a walk in October and I have a $1,000 goal, all I have to do is get a few $25 or $100 donations each month, and I'll get there. And it takes the stress also off of you, which is fantastic. So get started early, and ask early and often. I can't emphasize that enough. Donor Drive is a great site that we've transitioned to. It has a lot of functionalities on it. You can upload your email address book and send out emails to everyone you know. It has Facebook and Twitter and other social media widgets that you can plug in. There's lots of ways you can do peer-to-peer fundraising online, and that's the easiest thing to do, and you can do that right away as soon as you create your personal fundraising page when you register. The other thing I want to mention right quick before I move on is, as soon as you register, don't forget to personalize your fundraising page. If you're just signing up as an individual, you'll just have your personal fundraising page, and you can add your picture and you can add your story of why you walk or who you're walking for, or why the mission of HDSA is important to you. If you're signing up as a team captain, you'll also be creating a team page, so you can customize that as well. But there's nothing better, for example, if I'm a donor and I may not know anything about HD, but I'm your friend. If I come to your page and I read your story and I'm like, wow, I never knew this, or I didn't know this much, I see the personal connection. They're not reading the standard boilerplate information that HDSA autofills on these pages. They're reading your personal story, and that's going to make them much more likely to donate. So make sure you're calling last year's participants, you're emailing them, you're saying, hey, the walk website's up. I know it's not but for another 8 months, but go ahead and register. Go ahead and create and personalize your fundraising page. Start sending out those emails and posting to social media. And we don't just rely on new age technology. Sending out letters and flyers, those all work too, and we encourage that. In the earlier session, my colleague Nakia was talking about doing wraparound events and fundraisers like that to supplement your walks. Even if your walk is financially strong, why not do it? If your walk's in May, why not do a Hearts for Huntington wrap event in February, or Hoops in March for March Madness? It's a great way to build the excitement coming for the walk and to add extra dollars to your event. And then we're also talking about how you want to make your events fun. That's one of the ways you bring in new people who may not have a connection to HDSA. A lot of people recognize the problem that HD affects around 30,000 people in the United States. Another 200,000 may be at risk. And that's not a lot of people in a country that's 310 million people strong. So if we just rely on the HD community, we're not going to grow. So one of the ways to reach outside of the HD community is to make your events fun, have incentive prizes, which I'm actually going to get into right now, but have a top fundraiser or a top fundraising team where the top fundraising team gets a pizza party, and just make your events as appealing and fun and as exciting as you can, and you will bring in those people who are outside the HD community and who will help us grow. And you may be asking, CJ, I don't have any gift cards. Like, am I expected to go buy $25 gift cards? No. Right here we have a list of several companies that have in the past, and some of them regularly, like CVS, who donate gift cards. All you have to do is apply. I've never not applied to a CVS to get a gift card and not gotten one. So, I mean, the Disneyland tickets may be harder, but there's always companies in your local area, stores in your local area that you can go in and get items donated. You can go online if it's a big corporate retailer like CVS and do the applications. And you can always work with me and your regional field staff to come up with incentive ideas. So now I'm going to introduce Peggy Criven, my coworker from the Great Lakes, and she's going to go over her top 10 Team Hope tips.
Thank you, CJ. That was great.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to talk today. It's great to see you here. As you see up on the picture, that is a soccer team that just attended our walk in St. Louis on April 30th. They brought out 75 people, so there's a tip for you there. We made a contact with the local school, and I had them come out. A lot of them were in uniform, and they've come back like for the last 5 years. They've raised a lot of money. We're trying to get the football team to come out next year in 2017. We're already working on them for that. But what a great day with the Lady Vikings. They did some dancing for us and really created a lot of excitement at our walk a couple months ago. You know, I'm going to talk about 10 very quick tips. There's so many more tips that I could talk to you about today, but I did pick a few just to kind of go over briefly. My first tip was to start early planning. The sooner, the better. It seems like the months are flying by so quickly. Everyone's plates are full. Everyone are extremely busy. So stay ahead of the game and the timeline, and to ensure success, let's go ahead and get started early and get that excitement created right off the bat. Save the date. Be sure to get the save the date out to everyone you know and have them send it to everyone they know. People's calendars fill up very quickly. We want to be the first on their calendars for them to attend our walk. So just keep spreading the word on when the date of that walk is, every chance you get, perhaps on your signature emails, through social media, many opportunities to get that save the date out. Gathering a great committee, 6 to 8 can be great. I think the more you have, the easier it is with delegating the tasks and responsibilities, and then it really makes it fun. I want to mention, consider a youth committee. The younger kids have great ideas. They have a lot of energy, so I'm going to be working for that next year. So you certainly have adult committees, but don't overlook the younger kids, as they have a lot to give and great ideas. Consider committee calls too. When you gather your committee, if you can't all meet in person, staff can provide a great number for you to use. So sometimes you just all can't meet in one room, so we can certainly help you with that by doing a committee call. It's great to always be in person, but if you can't, remember that option is there. My number 4th tip was to be organized. I use a one-stop shopping Excel spreadsheet. It lists my sponsors, donors, walkers, in-kind, expenses, who's getting a sign, who's volunteering. And I have it all tabbed out in an Excel sheet. It's very easy, very organized, and it's a very quick reference to keeping me on task with all the details involved. So that's just a little tip as far as there's just so much paperwork involved. Get it all on one sheet, and it's easy to send out to the other committees as well. Certainly you have to reach out to past participants. Don't forget the team captains too. They've participated before and most likely will again, just simply by asking. Phone calls can certainly be a plus. Just takes a second to reach out, kind of the old-fashioned way. And I wanted to mention on those past participants, especially the day of the walk, to be sure to capture those emails. Those are key and just an easy way to communicate in future events and future walks. So don't forget to reach out to people that have walked in the past, because they most likely will come again. And certainly the sponsors as well. Tip number 6, don't miss this opportunity. They're a big part of your success. If they've supported you once, most likely they'll come back and support again. It becomes a win-win for the sponsor and for HDSA. Once again, don't hesitate to reach out, pick up the phone. Just that old-fashioned way certainly can hopefully get you the past sponsors. New sponsors, reach out to your boards if you have them for their contacts. Think about who you know personally and perhaps who you do business with. Think of the businesses around the venue. Everybody knows somebody. Engaging new sponsors every year is a plus, and once again will help you reach your goal. 8 was certainly, as you know, to utilize social media. Social media today makes it really easy for us to get the word out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. It makes it just super easy to spread the word. Tip number 9 was to be sure you school your volunteers. Here's something we learned over the year. You have a lot of people volunteering, a lot going on that morning. We created sheets to put at every station, whether you're doing pre-check, people that have already registered, the food, the raffle, the auction. So we have, I make lists so everybody knows at that station what they're supposed to do, what to do with the money, how to greet your walkers. So that's become an important tip for us. My tip number 10 was the time the walk come, it's time to party, and certainly it's time to celebrate. You've done all you can. At this point, I'd say bring on the walk, make it a fun day and a memorable day for everyone, and just keep that excitement going. Before you even start, you know it's a success already. You've put in your time and your thought and maybe even lost sleep over it, but just know for every dollar you've raised, it helps us closer to our mission. After I finished this, I was thinking about the walk, and I wanted to add one more tip, and it's a very important tip. So this is my tip number 11, and it's not on there. And this is a tip that sometimes we lose sight of, and that's expenses. So you put on this great event, you've raised a lot of money, and then it comes times to pay those bills. So I work on kind of a zero expense mentality with the volunteers I work with. So act like you don't have any money. So if you need hot dogs, let's send donation requests to grocery stores. Perhaps you know someone that knows a DJ, soda, water, Sonic. A lot of places will donate a case of water, easy. So you just really have to almost make it a challenge for yourself and for your committees. How are we going to get what we need for nothing? And there's certainly ways to do it. Staff can always help you. They've done a lot of walks. CJ can also give you some tips. So I guess I just want to add number 11. Don't forget to keep those expenses reeled in. Be sure your committees, you communicate with them so we know who's spending what if necessary. And I just want to add that tip in. So here's a few. There's so many more. Like I said, Dave and Susie could give you a ton more. They've run very successful walks for many years. So I hope that's helped a little. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. And I just want to add, she raised such a good point with expenses. The one thing I always say is just remember, for every dollar you're not spending on expenses is going to the mission. So every thing you get donated and the money you raise that isn't having to pay for expenses is going to social workers and support groups and research. So we're very thrilled that our spending ratio is 76-24. 76% of the money raised goes to the mission, 24% goes to expenses and overhead. So just keep that in mind as you're doing these walks. And that's why we love walks, because it's very easy to keep your expenses low and have the most of the money go to the mission. So now I want to welcome Amy Fideli and Heidi Ramos from the San Francisco Team Hope Walk. They are going to share their stories and what has worked for them.
Hi, my name's Amy Fideli, and this is Heidi. Just to start out, I am gene positive for HD. My mom suffers with it currently, so I am a caregiver and also somebody who's going to be suffering with this. So this is something big for me. My aunt passed away right before a walk last year with it, so I'm a big advocate. So Team Hope Walk's kind of my big focus, because I know you could pull in a lot with it. So I kind of put together did show you like what I've done really with my page. That's my mom up top. My biggest thing, and it kind of goes with what CJ said, somebody doesn't want to go to your page to read what the corporation or somebody has posted, just the same thing we hear over and over. They want to see, well, what's HD, what's Huntington's? So first, I always thank everyone who has supported me, who's been there for me in life. And then my team, I tell my team, like, thank you for being there. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know where it'd be. And then who I walk for. And then I tell my story and my mom's story. So I walk for my family, and I walk for all of you out there who suffer also. And I have a story, but you guys have a story. So I walk for everybody, but behind all of it, I have a mom there, and it's her and I kind of going through this battle together. So it's like for somebody to go to a page and actually read that, there's people at my age that could actually get on there and say, oh my gosh, she's my age and she's going through the same thing. She's a caregiver and, she's going to suffer with this. Like, let me get on here and talk to her. So like that's a key thing, is that somebody could connect to you with the story. And even your local people too, when you say, hey, check this out, they can get on your page and it just touches them and go, wow, this girl does this. I mean, when I'm at the gym, they're like, you have this disease? Like, you're going to have this disease? Like, you do this? So the story is like the biggest thing. So I think that's super key. So I talk about me, my family, and then, just kind of in the end, I throw something else in there. My team. I always say, okay, my team. We have my team is faith, hope, and love. So it's not Team Amy, which maybe one day it will be, but it's faith, hope, and love, because that's what you need. So what I've done with it was like, hey team, like I found somebody local who prints shirts for me and does my team shirts, and this year we've gotten much better, but it has our name on it, and personalize it. And I tell people in my community, I say, hey, you can be on our Team Hope Walk t-shirt, and also I'll put you on my t-shirt if you donate over $500. So, and that, to them it's like, okay, there's something, because this chick goes to the gym, she, does it, so they're seeing stuff, so they go and check it out. So just little things I put at the end, just to, hey, here's something to do, and things to check out. So, but that's pretty much my what I do on my page, my story. This is my amazing team. I love them so much. And my amazing husband, who couldn't be here, but he's my little warrior. And just my mom, me and my mom. And but yeah, that's my team. So I am actually now going to turn this over to Heidi Ramos. She is this year's honoree for San Francisco Hope Walk. So I'll go ahead and give that to her.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm a little hoarse today, I think, from talking too much. So I'm going to try to talk slow, and so you guys can understand me. So I'm tested positive for the gene in 2009, and my story is a little different than Amy's. My story, I was adopted, and so there's no one in my family that has this disease. And I'm blessed by that, because I have never had to be a caretaker. I've never taken care of a child or a parent or a sibling that has Huntington's disease. So, I really feel blessed about that. But, this journey, like I said, I tested positive in 2009, and I didn't want anything to do with Huntington's disease. I put my results in a drawer and was like, I don't have that. I don't want anything to do with it, and carried on with my life. And after a while, it just started getting to me. I was like, I need to get involved. And so in 2014, at the end of the year, like right before our walk was actually supposed to happen, I was like, what? I think actually I had tickets to go to Mexico, and it didn't happen. And so I was like, what? That's a sign. I need to go do my walk. And so I signed up, and I think it rained sideways all night that night, and we kind of got rained out. But we raised, I think $4,300. And the next year I registered again, and we raised another, I think it was 63 or 67,000 or 6,300. And so with those 2 years together, it was about 10 grand. And I'm a huge advocate for I don't do this for just me. I do it for everybody else. And I was really scared to meet people, because I had never seen Huntington's disease face to face. So I had a lot of fear about coming to the walk. Who am I going to see? Who am I going to meet? But I got there, and I started getting involved and getting a support group, and I realized soon that you people are like incredible, and it gets me. And so I made my team Hope a lot of fun. It's not where we go to cry or get upset. We go there to have fun. And so my team, if you look at my next page, has my team. There's my crazy team, and they all have their wigs on, their blue HD wigs on, and they got dressed up for me. And we had a great time. And so I'll do this every year, and people ask me, how do I get involved? How do I do it? And so there's my husband over there on the left, and just this year he came and he was like, Heidi, I want to raise $5,000 of my own besides what you're doing. And I said, okay, and that just it gets me right here. And so when people do that, that happens. And so I'm just blessed. And then came us. And so in 2014 I met Amy, and and then came us. There's just, you don't need to say anything else. And so there's this big thing we have now. And then this is Amy's page.
So with us, I actually met Heidi at one of the walks, and it was awesome. And we hooked up from there, and I said, hey, you know what, you should do this committee thing. And she hopped on the calls, and she's been doing this now, so it's been really good. And that's kind of where all the connecting gets, find someone, pull them in, and let's pull other people in. And so, but to talk about what we've done as far as finding sponsors and honorees and volunteers. So your gym, a local place you go to all the time, somebody where you show your face all the time. Reach out, go there, say, hey, most of the people that I know, I'm so open with this, so they know this is something I have. So that's what I do. I go and I say, hey, you know what? Why don't you do this? Why don't you sponsor me? Why don't you do, come join the walk? That's how I get out. Your gyms, corporations, Visa's one of them, Costco, they'll come in and they'll either donate stuff or they'll sponsor. Hospitals, doctors. Last year and this year's I'm doing it more. I'm doing footwork. Footwork has been our main thing, because we went from about 140 people one year to this past year 400 people. So in footwork, that was the biggest thing. I got out through San Francisco and I was like, hey, check this out. I went to, this year I'm hitting more, but I focus more on psychiatrist offices and neurologist offices and these little offices in the area that, hey, our patients come in, the doctors and them don't know too much about HD, or they do know and they don't know there's a community of HD people. So getting out and saying, hey, you know what, if somebody comes in and says they have Huntington's disease or you're dealing with somebody and they need somebody, give them my card. We have this amazing walk and they get all this info. So that's footwork. Start getting out there. And I have my own Facebook page for it, and I'll put it on, when I do stuff, it's Huntington's awareness, and then Facebook, and it says Amy's Fight for Life. So people look at these things at the gym and stuff like that, and they're all, oh, okay, what is that? So they'll go there, they'll check it out, and but yeah, and then honorees, choosing your honorees. I think that's really big with the walks. Somebody that's had a big effect on the community, with your a community advocate, somebody who's stood up, and stands out, and listen to other people too. This person should be up there. This person. So it's about choosing what people are saying and look at what they've done. And the doctors, as far as choosing your doctor for the walk and who's going to talk, and again, reaching out to community, personal experiences, people just that's kind of how you do your honorees. Just listen to everybody and then reach out and ask them to do it. Volunteers. So volunteers, I reach out to everywhere. Boys and Girls Club. We're in California, so I'm not sure, but colleges, schools, anything along those lines. Kohl's was amazing for us, and Gap, but just your local stores. We'll have 3 or 4 people come, and they'll volunteer and help out, which that was amazing because it helped like the day of when we had a bunch of people show up and we're like, wait, there's more than registered. So, and local businesses, like definitely hit the local businesses and people who know you. They'll definitely come out.
So on this page, we have, we put this one together. It's awareness and fundraising. You know, we had these different campaigns that we put together and thought about. We did the hula hoop for HD. We've done the pie in the face in my front yard, which was really fun. We had 10, we didn't raise any money, but it was awareness that we did. And we had, 10 people. It's on YouTube and has like 2,500 views or something. The save to date postcards, every year I make these, and then on the back it says something, and there's a link to my website to sign up or donate or whatever you like, read my story. Speaking at local events, we just spoke at the Hopes Conference and at Stanford, and I'm always speaking. Anybody that'll listen, I'm speaking. Sporting events. So like that would be the A's HD event. Raising money. We've done a few things different this year. We brought in the Change for Change and Save the Change, and so on the following page you'll actually see these canisters that we put together, and those canisters there. And so this month I actually have some money in my purse right now to give Natalie for Save the Change for the month of May, and it was I dropped one off at my dentist, the hair salon, a couple friends that work places, and one of them had $35 in it, but if you can get enough people to do that, and maybe they'll see it this year, but next year I'll come back at them with it, and they'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll do it this year. T-shirts, that's Amy's gig, and soon to be mine too. And making and selling beef jerky. My husband, he's the cook at our house, and so he's been making and selling beef jerky, and he has no problem doing that, and he's been really successful at that. We did pralines at the beginning of the year, and then we switched over to beef jerky. We're having a garage sale in June, and so all the stuff goes to HD. All the money goes to HD. eBay. I have these little business cards that I've been sending to. Like I'll sell something on eBay, and then put up my little fundraising thank you card in there with the link on one side to my page, and company match. The company I work for, they match up to $1,000, and if I do it if I donate through them during a certain time of the year. Kohl's and Gap we talked about, and then Amy's had some restaurant fundraisers that she was successful with. Yeah, there's the postcard and the fundraising cans. I bought those online. I think they were $30 for 2 cases. It wasn't a big deal. So that's been successful. I think these are Amy's pictures.
Okay. So just with the restaurant fundraisers, it was we did like a wrap event right before the walk. We said, hey, I found our local restaurant that I always go to, and I said, hey, can you host this? And they donated a certain percentage. I think it was like 5% of what it was, but it's 5% that went towards our walk, which was amazing, and it raised awareness too at the same time, because people there were like, what is this? And came and talked to us, and it was awesome. So the fundraisers are good, and also California Pizza Kitchen, there's like restaurants. They're actually chain restaurants that actually you can go on to their website and apply to do these. So one of them was California Pizza Kitchen, which we did, so it was pretty cool. So I will go back. And so this is, that's again one of the El Charro. That was my event that we did. I put something on there to catch their eye. I'm like, hey, come meet the ambassador of the walk. And so I was the ambassador last year. So that was for last year. So, I handed that out. Who is this? But up top is Robin. She's the one who makes my shirts. She also made this ball, and it's HD awareness. She actually embroidered the ball, and it has the A's in 2015 on it. And so we went to the A's game with this ball and had it signed by all these players. And it almost got kicked out, but that was awesome. But it was so worth it. And so I took the ball and we auctioned it off. And my husband, of course, put like $500 down for the thing, and we won it. But he knew how important it was, so he just wrote a big number. Don't you know you have to bid? He's like, I don't care, it's for you. So when people know it's for you, I think that's the thing, is it's personalizing and connecting. So, and then my niece and I, we do these shirts when we go out, straight out of Team Hope SF, and ask me about HD. Like, these things, like, it catches people's eyes. So and then we get to talk about our Team Hope walk. Hey, you know what? Why don't you come? We met someone that had cancer, and she does the same thing we do. And I'm like, well, let's trade for trade. You come to ours, we'll go to yours. I think that's awesome. So, and then find a support group, make friends. This is a key thing, making friends and support group. We go to an amazing support group out in Marin. Andrea Zenko runs it. We just love her so much, and that's kind of where we've connected and met Chris Furby. He's one of the guys. He produced the Huntington's dance. So it's like you meet these amazing people, and when you sit down and talk to them, they're just a person just like you, and it's amazing. So these are who build everything.
And these ladies are being modest because their events and all their collective energy helped to raise, I think, about $85,000 for their walk last year.
Yeah, so. we did. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you have.
I think that's it. I just want to say thank you, and I'm really honored to be here and go out and raise $1 million.
Okay, I want to thank Heidi and Amy for speaking with us today and sharing. I hope everyone who's watching at home or in the room can take those tips as well from Peggy. I want to thank Peggy as well, and take the tips that we've talked about and have successful Team Hope walks, or maybe even start one in your community. Do we have any questions? Yes, Misty. So for those watching at home, the question was, are we going to be updating or changing the shirts anytime soon? So we do get a very good deal through our company called T Formation. We get them very cheap, which is important for saving on expenses so we can have most of the money go to the mission. But we recognize the problem. So what we're going to be trying to do is changing the color every year. So last year they were blue. This year they're a very, very off-white gray. But we're always on the lookout for other companies that can match or beat the bid that we have currently. So if you see a company that can get us shirts at the same price that are more that you think is more exciting or that feel better, send them our way. We'll always consider them. We love our 3-bid rule.
You'll be able to share that cost piece breakdown.
Yeah. We are pretty. We value our transparency at HDSA, so email me and I can share with you how much each size shirt even costs. So yeah. So the question was if we're considering a text to donate. We have in the past. Manelli and Chris have been spearheading that. So I would say I would refer that question to them. I don't want to speak out of turn. I know they've looked into it, and they would probably be able to answer it best. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you all for attending. Since this is the last track of the day, thank you. I want to remind everyone the NYA National Youth Alliance Talent Show is tonight. Missy, what room is it in? It'll be on one of the sides, so starting at 7 o'clock. So everyone come to that. Thank you very much, and good luck with your Team Hope walks.